We're going to take the North and never give it back.
So that's a good pick. You get the corner. I got to go bold, right? I got to go bold for this.
Yeah, she's got some nice.
Welcome back to the Unbearable Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Brad. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're out there on YouTube. And also rate the show 5 stars everywhere that you get your podcast. Bears fans, we had to go a little bit early today. Why? Because our Chicago Bears are officially in the playoffs, ladies and gentlemen, with the Lions losing in last-second fashion over to the Pittsburgh Steelers. We are now in the playoffs officially. So bear down. I see that out there in the chat. Bear down, indeed, with the victory over the Packers, which we'll be breaking down, but also the loss with the Lions. Now, part of me also kind of wanted the Lions to win just to try and knock out the Packers because we might play them in 3 weeks anyways. But man, Bears end up winning. We got an LFG. We got some, drop some FGBs out there in the chat too. But yes, it's great. And also, thank you, chat, for sticking around. When I went live, all of a sudden, my entire setup just went dark. And I was like, oh crap. Forgot to plug in my laptop. So I forgot to charge my laptop. It's charging now. It died on me and then slowly getting back. I was just too excited to get back out there. And also thanks for bearing with me. Didn't go live on Saturday, but obviously we're doing this Sunday. But also fun little story. Since, as many of you knew, I was celebrating Christmas at my in-laws. My father-in-law is a Vikings fan. My brother-in-laws are all Packer fans. And when we were celebrating, we ended up not watching the game live. We were opening up gifts and things like that, so we had to record it. And Hulu Live, for anyone that has Hulu Live, turns out they still keep ads in that you cannot skip when you record something with Hulu Live. So it kind of stunk a little bit. We watched all the way. We ended the game at like 12:30 Central Time, but we went through it, and my gosh, was this game intense? Was this game insane? Like, it was crazy. So let me see what y'all are saying out there just overall. But yeah, it was tough from my perspective. It was gross, as we say here on the show. But yeah, let's see. We got some Bear Down. We got Joe. We got Oracle. We have Drax. We got Taco Man. We got Joe. Bear Down. We got In Peril. Exactly. Bear Down. Totally. So yeah, right now I'm asking the question, how would you grade the game? And that's where I'm really curious to just hear y'all's takes on the overall impression with the Bears. And actually, we have it split 33% down the line with A, B, and C. And I think that's a very good, honestly, summary. There's some things that were amazing. There were some things that weren't good. There were some things that were bad. And even normally we don't get the PFF grades immediately. And I'm looking at them right now. And if you compare the Bears versus the Packers, yet again, these are just PFF grades, but Bears have significantly higher graded players than the Packers, meaning that the Bears players played better. But when you look at the actual game itself, what ended up happening with this game is you saw it kind of split directly down the middle. When you look at total yards, 384 for the Packers, 400 for the Bears. And everything was really split. And I'll pull up this stat too, because I wanted to grab this because I thought it was really interesting. That when you're looking at average plays per drive, Packers 7.9, Bears 7.3. Average yards per drive, Packers 39.8, Bears 37.2. Possessions, each one with 9. It just was really, everything was completely split down the middle, and it was really just blow for blow. Now the biggest difference is that the Packers were at least able to get into the red zone and get into a zone in order to score. Because you look at it, Packers scored 6, 7, then 3, Bears 3 in the third, and then 13 in the fourth in order to win. And I think that the big thing was that the Bears were getting close. Obviously, the first drive, they drove all the way down, and then they got cute with that one play to try to direct snap it out to Manungai, which drove me crazy because it's just hand it off to him. You don't have to get too cute with it. But then after that, we always got to the 40-yard line, and then we never ended up doing anything more than that. And the defense played well. But the other thing too that I'll we'll bring up with the defense is I feel like they could have changed their game plan. Like, it's tough to change on the fly, but it did feel like they kept the same game plan that they had for Jordan Love as they had then for for their backup, which then was slightly different. So let's talk a little bit more. Let's actually talk a little bit about injury impact. So the injury impact overall, I see Love. I see some discussions out there about Jordan Love. Jordan Love goes down, and I want to bring this up because the Bears might be playing against the Packers in, like I said, in about 3 weeks. Josh Jacobs got banged up. Jordan Love gets the concussion, which a lot of Packer fans did not like that. They thought it was a dirty hit. It's a football play. It's just, helmet to helmet with that. And he went down. He's got a concussion, right? That's what happens. So Love goes down. You have Josh Jacobs, who is already questionable, goes down with an injury as well. And from a Bears perspective, DJ Moore getting banged up and then ends up being able to play the rest of the game phenomenally. So from an injury perspective, the other piece I want to talk about too is Jalen Johnson still doesn't look fully healthy. And also too, with Tremaine Edmunds coming back, we didn't see Action Jackson out there. Now, we could kind of joke about DeMarco Jackson as being this backup and like, oh man, like we do with any other backup. Like when a backup comes in and is playing well, we're like, oh man, let's go. But DeMarco Jackson has been very good and been very good in coverage. And I do think that when you saw Tremaine Edmunds out there, him not being 100% was lesser than DeMarco Jackson. And I do think that you need to see how healthy he is when he comes back, which, yeah, I hope that he gets healthier this week and then he can kind of get back to his Tremaine Edmunds self. But I didn't feel like we saw the full Tremaine Edmunds. There was some, missed tackles out there, and it would have just been nicer to like have waited. And I did talk about that in the show, in our preview show, where I just would have liked to see him like, you can sit out this week. DeMarco Jackson's been good. He's been fine at that linebacker position. But yeah, want to at least kind of call out a little bit about that. But yeah, I agree out there in the chat. The hit on DJ Moore was a dirty hit. And I hate Keyshawn Nixon. Like Keyshawn Nixon. I think it was also because after the game, the last Packer game, I remember being like, oh man, Caleb missed that throw. And one of my friends who's a Packer fan said, Brad, it wasn't a bad throw. Keyshawn Nixon just made an unbelievable play to intercept it. It's like, no, he didn't. It was just a bad throw. Like, so yeah, it was great to see Keyshawn Nixon give up the touchdown, the Jade Walker touchdown too, because it was like, see, he's not that good. But anyways, let's keep talking about this and let's kind of get deeper into this and talk more about other things besides just injuries. Let's break down this offense because, like we were saying, the offense went really blow to blow with this team. And actually, we'll just talk about it overall a little bit more too, is that, yet again, they were very even with a lot of things except for penalties. Now, go figure, you go against the Green Bay Packers who use the color of the flag in their logo, but the Bears, 10 penalties for 105 yards. And also, I got to say, a lot of those are justified though. A lot of those penalties were self-inflicted by the Bears. So even though that it's fun to make fun of the Packers, it is something that we did do a lot of dumb penalties. And I think if you talk about the reason why this game wasn't closer, it was because of those self-inflicted wounds that the Bears did at the very beginning of the year, but not necessarily right now. And I think that was the biggest thing for, I see in peril, the fourth phase of the Packers, the refs. Love it. but yeah, 10 penalties, 105 yards. That was big. Now, I did think that the late hit on, their backup quarterback was justified. I thought that wasn't a penalty, but kind of close. But yeah, that was a storyline, at least going into this, was that piece in particular, was the whole 10 penalties, because it then took us out of some of these good positions. The other piece too, as we always do with the offense, I haven't yet officially reviewed Caleb Williams' performance, but this is the first time in the entire season Caleb Williams has a plus completion percentage over expected, according to NFL Next Gen Stats. So I can't wait to go back and watch it. It did feel like and actually, I always like to ask y'all about this. So 40% of y'all saying you grade the game in A, 30% saying B, 20% saying C, 10% saying D. So now I want to just ask, how would you grade Caleb's game? I always like knowing this. How would you grade Caleb's game? Question mark. A, and then we'll keep going B, C, and D, and start poll there. So a little bit that I'll say about this game, just yet again, first watch, have not watched multiple times. I was watching it with a room full of Packer fans and some drinks. But really, like, when watching the game and just seeing Caleb, I think that this was one of his more accurate games. Now, that being said, because you can see it in the spray chart, he was completing a lot of those passes, and it felt like he was making some solid passes. Where I kind of didn't love his performance, I think where he kind of struggled a little bit, was it did feel like every time that there was a pressure, like that they were blitzing him. This is the first time I've ever seen him just like run out of the back of the pocket and just yeet it and just throw it where, like, just not throw it at someone, but just like throw it away. And that was something that, like, if my biggest gripe, and I think the reason why you see his completion percentage so low is because of that. Like 19 to 34 for 250 yards. His adjusted completion percentage would be 71%, and he had 6 throwaways. It felt like those throwaways he didn't have to do. There might have been like one that you absolutely had to, but I even asked like around as we're watching this, I'm like, what did you guys think of that? And they're like, he just keeps abandoning the pocket. And that's what they kept asking. They're like, does he step up in the pocket ever? Like, he's abandoning it. And this is people, and yet again, Vikings fans too, that were watching this game. And I agree with that, because it did feel like he was escaping the pocket and just throwing it away, or just literally someone was coming after him and he just threw it away. But besides that, I thought that he was playing great. I thought he got skittish with the blitz, but besides that, there was a couple plays he delivered and was able to get the ball out. And just even looking at this passing chart, great stuff. And I thought he put the ball in a lot of favorable positions. And that's why you see 250 passing yards out there. But yet again, if you just throw it away and don't even try to throw it to somebody, yeah, I think that's what also, I think that the just immediate throwaways and the penalties was what really kind of, and then Ben Johnson getting cute on that one play. But stuff like that, I feel that's the reason why we weren't scoring more. I thought that we did really well. But the whole fact that we just weren't putting up more points and, earlier and got shut out the first half was just a weird thing. So yeah, but let's see. We got 2 out there. Don't care what happened before the comeback. A++. Love it. We got Drax out there with the 10 penalties. Yeah. But he's also saying MVP Caleb is his opinion. Oracle saying Green Bay seems like faster team speed and better tacklers. They were playing a lot faster out there for sure. But also too, I will say this, because Talking Man saying like some checkdowns. Yeah, there was some of that. But I will say that without Luther Burden, without Roma Dunze, and playing like this, good stuff. Like, yet again, I thought this was a good game. 67% of y'all saying A, 22% saying B, 11% saying C. Yeah, like, this is why I love doing the polls, because it feels like if you just average out everything that y'all say, that's the answer. Where it does feel like a B+, A-esque type of game that he ended up happening. Plus, you also talk about what he was able to do on the ground when he was running with the football, 10 carries, 30 yards. Now, he does, as we all know, we have to talk about this. He does need to learn, like, hey, when you drop and you slide, that's when you're down. And I hopefully that shows, like, hey, just as a reminder, you need to make sure that you're across the line of scrimmage, and then you do that. Or dive forward, and that's what he did the next time, is dive forward. Dive forward, don't slide if you're trying to get that first down, and no one else is around you, and you're just trying to go down just to save yourself. Because we've seen this, there's been at least 3 other times, or 3 times including this, I can distinctly remember, him sliding before the line and or going out right before the line. Be aware of that and understand it. And what you saw was he dove forward for one of them, and then another one where there's a penalty, he reaches the ball forward. So good stuff. So good stuff out there, but just needs to understand. Yet again, fast. He's able to get an escape. Good stuff. But those other pieces. So then as we look at the receiving, 97 yards for DJ Moore. He looked great out there. It was nice to see them actually connect. And then Kyle Monangai, 3 catches, 43 yards, mainly on that one screen that went for 34. Then he had another drop. Yet again, Kyle Monangai, love him as a running back. He is kind of that traditional run it. The passing game doesn't look as fluid as, say, like a DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift, 2 catches on 2 targets. Cole Kmet, 2 catches for 14 yards. Jade Walker, 2 catches, 21 yards, and a touchdown. Honestly, was surprised at how much he got involved. It was usually always Duvernay is the person that kind of goes in instead of him. But Loveland, 3 catches, 30 yards. It really was a DJ Moore type of game. DJ Moore was really the guy that he wanted to go to. And yet again, nice to see them at least kind of getting more of a connection, because now hopefully you can get Luther Burden back. You can get Rome back. And then the Luther and Caleb connection looked good. Colston and Caleb looked good. Hopefully DJ and Caleb just keeps going. When everybody else comes back, hopefully he feels comfortable with DJ with it. But also, Broski, what is good? Bear down to you too, my friend. Let's see. Caleb is the master of running for first down and being yards short. Yep. Totally. And then, winning touchdown from the pocket. That was the thing, is the Jade one. I think that's why it was so shocking when he got the Jade touchdown, was he like went back, and then that was always the things that he was just throwing away every time that they sent the blitz, but just lobbed it perfectly in the corner. And the DJ one was the thing of beauty. That's the thing, is like he does have those beautiful passes and great catch too. So let's see. And Drax saying too, if the Bears lost, this would be a different conversation. Agreed. And that's where I think, like, if I rewatch the game, I'm really curious to see what I think, because when you rewatch it, I don't watch it in order. I just literally watch all the passing plays one after another, after another, all the run plays one after another, where it's just I'm not looking at the tempo of the game, just simply trying to see, like, how did you run it? How did you play? And let's see. We also, I'm just looking out there as well. So passing, like I said, just overall. But let's kind of talk a little bit about this rushing attack. Like we said, Caleb was able to do something. DJ, they were able to give it to DJ on a little running play as well. But if I'm looking at this too, Kyle Monangai, and I said this before, Kyle should have gotten the ball a little bit more. That was the thing too, was it did feel like they went away from the running game, but the running game was good. And you look at this too, the running game, 77th percentile in the running department. Even though that it didn't feel like one of our best running games, we were still very good. And even then too, 0.9 yards before contact, which is one of our worst marks of the entire season, but 3.4 yards after contact. So we're able to run it still very effectively. And Kyle Monangai, 5.6 yards a carry, and then DeAndre Swift, 4.5 yards a carry too. So DeAndre Swift with 13 carries, Monangai with 9, and man, if only they would have just handed it off to him with that. Like, we would have had a touchdown. Just always want to throw that out there. But I just think that overall this offense was solid. We had 2.99 time to throw, so it was kind of right in the middle, where, like, with him holding onto the football. And also 25th percentile in EPA per play when passing the football then too. And also I always like to go through the offensive line stats. So with the game, 4 pressures were accounted for Drew Dahlman. Came from Drew Dahlman. He had a PFF grade of 25.7 in the pass blocking department. So he was kind of getting cooked out there. Ozzie Trapillo, 72 pass block grade, but they gave him 3 pressures allowed. So really want to look back out there, but it did feel like Ozzie was playing pretty well. Then other pressures, one given up to DeAndre Swift, one given up to Durham Smythe, one given up to Colson Loveland. Yet again, they were doing a lot of blitzes. One given up for Joe Tooney. Wow. One for Darnell Wright and one for Jonah Jackson. So couple little plays there. I remember the Jonah Jackson one vividly because it felt like he didn't even really go after him. But you saw the blitzes more so causing Caleb a little bit of duress. So yet again, still need to watch the tape. Still need to check that out. So we shall see with that. Also, yeah, Ron is probably out there. I agree with, Ron out there in the chat is probably out on just some Packers Lions chats out there. Yeah, after the Lions lost, we know Ron. He's definitely going out there and being like, all right, cracking his fingers, like, all right, time to start trolling some Lions fans out there. So that's what I got from the offense. I thought that this offense with the grade, if I'm grading this offense, if I'm saying it overall, I'd say it's almost like a B-, which is crazy to say, because if you're talking about the entire picture of this offense, we should have scored more. And yet again, this is a good defense, even without Micah Parsons out. They kind of reminded us a couple times of that too. But I just feel like with a lot of the execution and just getting it done, we should have been better. We should have been playing a lot better than what ended up happening. The other thing that I just want to kind of talk about too, I'll just kind of bring this up from the offensive standpoint. I'll do the highest graded players. So highest graded players, Joe Tooney at 86.6, DJ Moore 81.1, Ozzie Trapillo 79.5, Darnell Wright 79.5, Jade Walker 75.4, Monungai was 74.2, and Caleb Williams with a 74 grade. Then if you want to know about the worst grades, Durham Smythe with a 42.5, Drew Dahlman with a 48.4, and Alameda Zacchaeus with a 52.8, and Cole Kmet with a 55.4. So wanted to at least just throw out those because I normally don't have the grades yet whenever we do these reviews. But let's flip over to the defense, where I'm curious about this. Let's start. And also, yeah, Trax. I'll bring Ron. Yeah, next in-law party. You just be out there trolling, and I love it. But let's how would you grade the defense? And this one, I'm genuinely curious about this, and the reason why I said I'm curious is because obviously they stopped them in the red zone. This was a definite bend but don't break type of defense today. So Green Bay also 5 red zone trips, 3 field goals. That to me, very good from the defensive perspective. But then if we go back to their offensive output, you're talking about Jordan Love, 8 of 13 for 77 yards. Malik Willis, 9 of 11 for 121 yards. But then on the ground, we have Emmanuel Wilson averaging 5.9 yards a carry. Malik Willis averaging 4.4 yards a carry. We did stop Josh Jacobs. Yet again, he was a little banged up for 3 yards a carry. But then they were just gashing us with all these extra little runs. Jordan Love scrambling, Jaden Reed with like a little end around, Chris Brooks with a carry, Matthew Golden with some carries. So they had like all these sprinkles of plays out there trying to attack us that way. And also too, the defensive line wasn't as great as we normally are against like the Packers O-line. They averaged 1.3 yards before contact, 2.7 after contact. And they really got that running game going in the second half. But still, they were 69th percentile with the rush and 68th percentile in EPA for passing. So meaning they had above average offensive output on both, and they were able to play pretty darn well from both sides of that. Now, my take on this defense, my biggest gripe with this defense, what ended up happening was, yet again, I know it's difficult to change game plans when you go into it. First off, I want to say bravo for taking our suggestions on the show where they weren't blitzing as much as they normally have. Because yet again, Toyotathon Jordan Love, phenomenal against the blitz. Do not blitz him. Bears didn't blitz him, and that was pretty good. Yet again, they weren't dominating them or anything like that, but they weren't getting absolutely gashed. Now, the reason why I just get a little bit like, oh man, I wish they would have changed things up. When Jordan Love went down, you kind of knew that Malik Willis was going to be out there. And this would have been a great thing to be like, okay, can we maybe bring back some of these plays that we've typically done where we kind of fool them up at the front of the line of scrimmage and then send a blitz and try something like that. It felt like as soon as Malik Willis was in, the old Bears game plans that we would always implement on defense would have probably been a better fit going against Malik Willis than what you would have gone against with Jordan Love. And, it's kudos to Malik Willis. Like, he played well, but it was definitely something where you had two different styles of quarterbacks. And I wish we would have kind of turned up the heat a little bit more on him. And I think we would have been able to get a little bit more success on him if we turned that up. So that was one of my takes on this, was that's how I kind of felt like we could have potentially beat them, was try to turn that heat up. But still, yet again, it wasn't a terrible performance when you allow 16 points to the Green Bay Packers, who have been a very good offense. Yeah, without Jordan Love and Josh Jacobs, but still, I thought that it was a pretty good performance, pretty solid performance from this defense. And if we look at the stats, as we kind of flip over to that, TJ Edwards leading the way with 10 tackles and 0.5 sacks. Austin Booker with a half a sack and another sack by smacking Jordan Love in the face. And then also too, Montez Sweat with a sack. When we also look at the overall pressure grades too, Montez Sweat, a 27.3 pass rush win rate. Andrew Billings, 20% pass rush win rate. And Javon Dexter, 18.2% pass rush win rate. Austin Booker and Dominique Robinson, both with a 7.1 pass rush win rate. Grady Jarrett with a 0 pass rush win rate. So I jokingly said when I was watching it with my in-laws, the best thing about Grady Jarrett is he's great at stopping screens because he doesn't get any penetration. You just go right over there, stop the screen, which he did. So that's at least good. But yeah, when you're talking about pressures, Javon Dexter led the way with 3 pressures. Dominique Robinson with 2, Montez with 2, Billings with 2, and Jarrett with 2. So the thing that I was a little bit kind of curious to see was them putting Dom Rob out there rather than Tryon Shoyinka, who Joe Tryon Shoyinka played great the game before. And so that's why I was a little shocked that they didn't have him out there. But yeah, so want to at least just throw it out there that I thought that Montez Sweat had a very good game. I thought he played great. And I'll also load up the defense just so people get their grades out there too. If we're looking just purely at a grade perspective, Montez Sweat, 82.8. Deshaun Wright with the strip that we saw, 82.3. Javon Dexter, 73.8. TJ Edwards, 72.7. Tyreek Stevenson, 71.3. Jalen Johnson, 68.7. So they liked his performance. Nick McLeod with his limited snap, 16, which seems like a lot more than I thought. 66.5. And if we look at lowest grades, Dominique Robinson with a 45.2. Yet again, more ammunition to have Joe Tryon Shoyinka out there. And then Tremaine Edmonds with the 51.6. So yeah, Dominique Robinson, 45.2. And Austin Booker with a 53.1. They liked his pass rush at 73, but his run defense at 51.5. Andrew Billings, 55.2. And CJ Gardner-Johnson with a 57. Yet again, it's his coverage grade. Like, if anyone's curious, CJ's he's been getting picked apart in man coverage. That's just not his specialty right now. So, and I think that what you're seeing is he's typically been more of a safety as of recent and hasn't been that man-to-man guy. But that's one of the issues that we're having with him. But yet again, Dominique Robinson, not a great performance. Austin Booker, more of a pass rush performance. And I did see a couple times where it felt like he should have been containing the edge. Instead, ends up trying to make a play. And especially with Malik Willis. Malik Willis was able to get a pretty good run on him during a option keeper. So he kept it, and Booker ends up kind of crashing down at the running back, and he ends up getting some yards with that. So let's see. We got Matt, bear down. Yeah, it is a great day to be a Bears fan. We got J2K, bear down to you too, my friend. And then Oracle saying solid C. 0-5 in the red zone. Yeah, and for the love of all that is holy, they need better answers for mobile quarterbacks. That's right. I forgot that was a huge stat. That Bears are not good when it comes down to stopping mobile quarterbacks. Like usually, if there's a mobile quarterback, you take the over with the number of yards that they're able to get against them. At least we're going against Brock Purdy next week, so there's that at least. But yeah, Malik Willis was able to get some good stuff against us. But yeah, besides that, like I said, I thought that this defense was solid. If I go back to the previous graphic, Drew Dahlman lost the fumble, but Monungai recovered. But then we were also able to strip it, like we said, with Nashawn Wright, and ended up getting it back. So yeah, like yet again, this is the day afterwards as we're kind of breaking this down, and I just think that the defense they played well. And I think that's the thing. They did the classic bend but don't break. Obviously you want to see a little less breaking, or a little less bending, and still don't break. But let's maybe not bend as much. But unfortunately, we're not going to get a crazy amount of defensive line help anytime soon. But we'll see. And Squeegee too, bear down to you too, my friend. Happy holidays to you all as well. So let's keep going. Let me see other things as well. Just looking, if we're looking at coverage sides, Tremaine Edmonds allowed 4 receptions, Nashawn Wright 3, Kevin Byard 3, CJ 2, Tyreek an 83.5 coverage grade on 10 coverage snaps. So look good out there. So nice to see him getting some snaps, but yeah, it just seems like right now we're trying as much as we can to just like get through the season with the amount of injuries that have just been kind of stacking up on this defense. So, but let's see too. Yeah, Matt saying too, hopefully family got rid of the illness. So funny thing with that too is as we're there, like with my in-laws and everything, my sister-in-law and her husband, they come in and they're like, oh, we don't feel good. And we're like, oh crap. And then this morning, because we spent the night, this morning they were like, my sister-in-law had a fever, and we're like, oh crap. So hopefully, fingers crossed, because she tested positive for influenza A, which was the main thing that we had. So we're like, okay, hopefully it's the same strand. Hopefully it's all good. But man, tis the season, tis the season. But yeah, so let's talk about some special teams, because we haven't even touched on the special teams, which ended up winning the game, because we got the onside kick, obviously, but then also too, Cairo Santos having a great game where I remember I was watching it, and I don't know how many of you guys also did the same exact thing. As we're watching this, I'm telling everyone, I'm like, Santos can hardly hit it from 50. He's not going to hit this. Like it's going to be short because the wind is going back. But man, Santos, it's like I said, I was like, it's a line drive. If I was the Packers, you just double double up the A gap, like try to just rush it with that. Santos had a great game. Santos hit his 3 field goals. You saw how much it was, the wind was blowing down there. Just great game from Santos. But then also too, Torrey Taylor, 2 punts, 2 inside the 20. Now the other one was not the farthest, and you could definitely say, like, because of the wind, right? His longest of the day was 43, but pinning 2 in the 20, great. Blackwell, still don't love him as a kick returner. Averaged 23 yards a kick return. Devin Duvernay, 1 for 35. And they never punted. So yet again, us bending was the big thing. They never ended up actually punting the football once all day. So defense, definitely, if we're not sending that blitz, it seems like a little less ability to kind of stop. But yeah, great stuff from special teams, being able to retrieve everything and get that. So now let's just kind of wrap things up. And let's talk about most valuable bear. I saw a little bit of most valuable bears out there, but let me know, ladies and gentlemen, who is your most valuable bear? Because as I always do, I like to just go through and talk about who could even be potential. And we were just talking about special teams. Carlos Santos can literally be an MVP for the way that he did, the way that he was able to kick those. If he misses one, we lose this game. The fact that he hits all three is impressive. Very, very impressive with that. Now, if we talk about the defense, I don't really think that there was anyone on this defense. No one got a game ball on the defense, from that side of it. So I don't really think anybody deserves it. I think Nahshon Wright, a play of the game that he ends up making, I would say if anybody, he would deserve it. Even though that I think that Sweat had a good game, Nahshon Wright's forced fumble, out of anyone there, I would give it to him. And then if we talk about the offense, DJ had a great game. He played very well. Swift Monungai, I don't think you can give one to them. Jade stepping up, getting the touchdown. That was good. And then you have Caleb, 250 yards and the 30 yards rushing. I think if anything, if I have to give it to someone, I'm giving it to Caleb. And I really do think so. I think that DJ made some good plays, but I think like this was one of those games where just like everyone played. Like if you want to talk about the person that brought them back, it's Caleb. And so I give my game ball to Caleb. The throw that he made in order to capitalize on that. Yes, I didn't love how he was just bombing the ball as soon as he got pressured, but he's the person that brought you back. He's the person that threw the ball. And I thought that he threw the ball very well. I think he's coming back, having back-to-back games that I've really liked the way that he's been looking. I thought that last week was one of his best first halves of football. It was his best first half of football when you're talking about accuracy and putting the ball in a good spot. And he was going against the Browns defense. I thought, this game, minus the whole blitzing thing, I thought he played a very, 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 very good game and made some excellent throws. We're seeing some progress and it's exciting. Like it's good stuff. So I really liked it. And just with this game, now I think that like to wrap things up. So yeah, Caleb gets my MVP. If I'm going to give it to a second person, I'll give it to DJ. Actually, no, I'm going to give it to Santos because onside kick and 3 field goals. I'm giving it to Santos as the backup, Caleb as number 1, but without those 2 players, you don't win the game. Now, obviously DJ made a phenomenal catch with everything, but that's my feeling. And also too, yeah, Taco Man saying the arm, that's a ball in the wind too. Yeah, that's makes it even more impressive. Yeah. So, and then also we got, so that was my feeling with this, but if I'm just wrapping up the game, right? The game was good. The game, obviously at the very end, it makes it good because we won. At the same time, we needed to capitalize more. And I guarantee you Ben Johnson's going to be like, this is great. We can win all these games. But yet again, it goes back to the penalties. It goes back like as soon as you start committing those penalties. And I think a big reason why Caleb didn't get the game ball was because of just those quick throwaways where you're like, what are you doing, man? Like you got to do something with it. Right. But it's stuff like that where you kind of just as a reminder, you can't be committing those dumb penalties. You can't be doing stuff like that because we should have won we should have been able to score some more points. And I know that Packer fans are saying we should have scored more points with them as well. We never even punted once. But that's the difference in football is the will and those little plays that then swing it. So that's the feeling with it. But man, yeah, it feels good because like Drax said, we got some cheesehead. He's got his cheesehead coworkers crying. I'll say this. I'm not getting any texts from my friends right now. I got like 2. As soon as I saw the end of the game, I literally sent the same text to all of them. And I had this like huge thing of messages and I sent it out. And then the only messages I've gotten back so far have just been like, man, what a game. Just like, what a game. And another one just says, I'm not ghosting you. I just am still processing. So yeah. So that's about it. Like everybody's just like trying to process things. But let's see. We got Matt out there saying, for the recap. Yeah. Last ones he was asking, who's more fun to watch, Caleb or Love? Yeah, I agree. I think that like Love gets a lot of like Brett Favre comparisons, I feel, just because just the way that he plays. But I think it's also people like don't know what Love is yet. But Love actually hasn't put the ball into like harm's way as much as I think people think. But yeah, I don't think Love is like an exciting player, but like Caleb, you see some of those little plays and you just don't know what he's going to do. And people are talking about what he does in the fourth quarter and in these clutch situations. So yeah, Caleb by far, I'd say. So, man, it's good. But also too, we see the Green Bay offense punts a single time. Yeah, it really is. This whole defense, does. We'll obviously what the 49ers do. It always seems like whenever the Bears go out to San Francisco, bad things do happen. But I do feel like, I will say this, I think that the Packers match up very well against the Bears in a lot of situations. Obviously it's going to be, is it going to be the Bears versus Packers, Bears versus 49ers is really going to be the big question, unless Packers win the NFC North and then we go against the Eagles again. But it really does look like we're going to go against the Niners or the Packers again. And I do think that the Packers do match up very well against us with what Jordan Love does very well, and that the Bears haven't been able to get a lot of pressure with just their front four. And our defense needs to send blitzes and needs to like create some form of confusion in order to do something, which yet again, when you go against really good teams or really good quarterbacks like a Jordan Love, it becomes more challenging. Yeah, who gets Tampa Bay? It's who does? It's the first one. It's either the Rams or the Seahawks, because the Rams and Seahawks should have the 5 seed. So yeah, so hopefully like we got to root against the Rams and Seahawks, because then maybe we could get the 1 seed. That's still in the cards. So something to look out for. But yeah, we'll have to look for that. But man, I can't wait. We will be live. Maybe Wednesday night. I have to rethink of when I'm going to be live, because Christmas is this week. So Merry Christmas to everyone who celebrates out there. Happy Hanukkah, happy holidays for everybody that celebrates holidays, at this time of the year. But yeah, I got to think about that. I will try and post out when I will be live, for the holidays and everything like that. So stay tuned. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe out there on YouTube, hit the notification bell so you know when we will be live, when we preview the Bears versus the 49ers. Ladies and gentlemen, the Bears are a playoff team. Say it with me, right? And with that, Unbearable Sports Podcast, we are out. Bear down, everybody.
Yeah, she's got some nice long hair and